Play at Novibet.
Hello and a warm welcome to another edition of the Irish Angle in association with Novibet. As usual, I've Emma Nagle and Johnny Ward here, and we're going to have a look at all the things that happened in the last week in racing, and we're going to have a little look ahead to Punchestown, which starts this week, one of the best weeks of the year for National Hunt fans in Ireland. The end of the season, but it's always a spectacular week and great fun. Emma, Johnny, welcome to the show.
Hi, Vinny.
Thanks, Vincent.
Now, start off with the first big thing from last week, obviously, is Willie Mullins landing the British Trainers' Championship. He clinched the title at Sandown on Saturday. We knew he was going to do it, I suppose, for a few weeks anyway. It was looking imminent with the amount of horses he was thrown at it in the UK after he won the Aintree Grand National. So he secured it on Saturday. What do you think, Emma? Is it good for racing?
Whether it's good for racing now or not is probably a bit of a question mark, but I definitely enjoyed it anyway. I suppose it kind of added a little bit of excitement to the end of the British National Hunt season, and like listening to like quotes from Patrick. Patrick's been over and back to England, I suppose, like nearly every second day in the last week or so. And like hearing quotes from them, from him, like they're going to go for probably harder again next year, which, you know, like you'd imagine if he's sending over more runners, like I think, did he have 20, he had less than 30 winners. I think it was 28 winners he finished up with in the end. I mean, like if he's going to be sending more horses over to the grade ones or even big handicaps every weekend, like we saw what he did there when he just decided to target the two biggest handicaps in the last 2 weeks, the Scottish Grand National and the Bet365 Gold Cup at Sandown. All you kind of need to do is send over Danny Mullins and one of these good handicap chases, and he seems to have him wrapped up. Yeah, I mean, like I see no reason why he can't do this for the next 2 or 3 years, I'd say. If they're going to send more horses over, and you know that might be when it becomes over. I think the first one is kind of fun and games, but the British trainers might be getting a bit worried from here on.
Yeah, and just with that, Johnny, the fact that he is more likely to have a go at this again next year and really start from an earlier point in the season, what are the English or British trainers going to do? They've been trying to avoid bumping into him with the exception of Cheltenham, and even sometimes they don't even want to bump into him at Cheltenham. They're not running their horses there, as we've seen with Paul Nicholls over the last couple of years. He seems to sidestep it largely. Is there a chance we might see more of the British horses running in Ireland? If all his good ones are going to England, they might come over here and pick up the odd pot. What do you think?
The situation with the trainers at the moment, like this is all down to owners, really. Like it's up to the owners where the horses go. So I'm changing my mind a little bit on this in terms of a few articles have appeared about prize money in recent months that, you know, the prize money in Britain gets a lot of flack, but actually relative to Ireland in some respects it's good, and particularly if you can place horses well. Gavin Cromwell sneaking into the top 20, as you said in your blog this week, in terms of the British trainers race, and that was just by virtue of the way he planned these horses. He'd won a nice pot with Earls even at the weekend as well, another nice bit of placing, and there are nice pots in Britain. If Willie does go for it, you'd imagine he should win it. Now, for all that, some of the top trainers in Britain, Nicky Henderson obviously had a terrible Cheltenham, and some of the Skelton and Paul Nicholls will probably feel that they can do better next season, but ultimately, really, the owners need to put their good horses in Britain, and there might be a case to be made now for some owners to send Nicky Henderson or Paul Nicholls good horse, where generally the program over there for the novice hurdlers going into Cheltenham is a little bit easier, and it's not that these people can't train. If Willie does go for the trainer's site next season, it's hard enough to see him not winning it, because he really only started thinking of it belatedly, and he started running horses around the various kind of tracks later on. As you said in the blog, it was fascinating into the season, particularly when he won the national, to see these horses running sort of run-of-the-mill meet, some of them getting beaten as well. And it was complex as well for Paul Townend, obviously, who was now training Jack Kennedy to such a manner that he's not even favoured anymore with one or two firms to win the jockey's title. But if Willie does go for it in the British Trainers Championship, why not? And he does have to spread his horses around as well. So it's interesting to see the owners really backed him when he wanted to run the horses in England and Scotland over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it must have cost them money, some of those owners, because they were winning small prize money at some of those races as well, that he was just trying to notch up a few quid here and there. So they must have been expensive trips for them, with all the associated costs. But anyway, they were all willing to do it for Willie. Sure, who wouldn't? One other thing from the weekend, of course, or from Saturday, was El Fabiolo. What about that, Emma? What did you make of that? John Bond beating him. He didn't look the same horse we thought El Fabiolo was, certainly halfway through the season.
No, he definitely didn't look like the same horse he was as a novice chaser anyway, for sure. Like, maybe you'd have a question, did the mistake he made in Cheltenham take its effect on him? When we were down there the other week, Patrick was saying he was stiff and a bit sore after it, but he obviously came back into himself again. But he didn't jump well early on. Maybe it lingered in his head a bit, but yeah, definitely didn't look like the same horse. But I'd say you kind of have to give all credit to John Bond there now, in fairness. I kind of been underestimating him, I suppose, a bit this season. But I suppose Nicky gets a lot of slack for not running his horses, but John Bond's probably like thinking of grade one, like championship race type horses. We probably see him more than we do any other one, and he seems to take his racing so well. Brilliant performance from him. But yeah, El Fabiolo, so where do you go with him next year? Do you step him up and trip, or was just put a line through that run and hope he'll come back again? Yeah, kind of hard to see any real reason for it. He just looked really flat in the day, I suppose. But just kind of to mention, Johnny mentioned prize money there. Like, you wonder, like you had in your blog about, so I think there was 4 Irish trainers in the top 20. Like, should they be trying to maybe distribute the prize money a bit better, like instead of having like these massive pots for the big Saturday races, and lads who are training, like lads could be training 50, 60 winners and winning very little prize money because the everyday racing, I suppose, like the maiden hurdles and stuff, like they're only running for a couple of grand, whereas here, like, it seems to be a little bit distributed kind of slightly. I suppose still there's kind of a big concentration to the big races, but the everyday prize money here is probably better compared to the UK, which might be a help for the smaller trainers there. But yeah, back to El Fabiolo, disappointing. I don't know where you go with him next year. He definitely doesn't look the same horse as he did as a novice chaser.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd like to see him back to his best, because he did look like he was something special going back 12 months ago. John Bond, of course, great to see for Nicky Henderson. And he's a horse, as you say. I've changed my opinion on him. He just seems to get better and better, doesn't he? He just keeps producing it, and he produces it every day to some level at least. And when he's on song, he's very, very good. But Nicky Henderson, that was one little bright moment for him in what's been a terrible season. And then we have the news from yesterday about Shishkin, which is really sad that he's passed away. He was some horse, Shishkin. 21 races, 14 victories. He won an Arkle, he won a Supreme. Really unlucky not to win the King George back in December as well. I think he was the first horse that the Donnellys had with Nicky Henderson. Hell of a horse, Johnny. He'd be a sad loss.
I was very much looking forward to the aspect of Shishkin and his kind of enigmatic nature and complexities, and ultimately his class coming to Punchestown, when at the end of the season that was trying for Nicky Henderson. You'd have, Irish racegoers really willing him on. And that was, if Shishkin had rocked up in the Gold Cup, obviously you'd have supporters of the Bastislow Galton des Champs, and everyone loved Martin Brassil maybe having a winner last season, and everyone loves Galton des Champs. But I think Shishkin would have been a very popular winner as well, and it's very tough for Nicky Henderson. I know it's a first world problem and all of that, but he was, and I also really feel for the people looking after the horse in the yard, because he was a character. I'd say you'd love him if you were the person looking after him every day. And that's just been one of these seasons. Once Punchestown is over, Nicky Henderson will probably want to go on a nice holiday, but he'll have a nice holiday at Punchestown as well, because I think he's staying Shay Harrington in Moon for the week, so maybe he'll be able to get over it. But that's very sad to the yard, and lovable horse as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. One other thing there, just the fact that the Donnellys owned Shishkin, and he was the first horse they had with Nicky Henderson. They have a few of them now, but one of the horses they have in Ireland, Brandy Love. Did you see that in Wexford? Did you see that on Thursday, Emma? I've never seen nothing like the jump that horse made at the fence past the stands with a circuit to go. Like, astonishing. Took off probably 20 yards before the fence, it looked like. And then, of course, he falls at the same fence in the second time around, and they had to put screens around him, but eventually he got up. I hope he's okay. But I've never seen a horse take off that early at a fence. Have you?
No, I saw the video. It was up on Twitter, and yeah, she went out. I'd say it was like even beyond the wings. She started jumping. I don't know, was it low sun or something? Because obviously she fed at the same fence next time, or she just totally misjudged it. Like, in fairness, I don't know how she even got over it. Like, I'd say most horses would have just landed up. Well, she kind of half landed on top of the fence, I suppose. But she stayed in her feet, which was, I suppose, an achievement on its own. There's some picture of it. I think we posted up on the social media there during the week. Yeah, she's literally standing outside the wings, taking off. But yeah, old Brandy Love, she never really took off as a chaser, like, did she? She was a good hurdler. But yeah, I'm not sure was she really in love with the chasing game. Yeah, but yeah, she was a good horse in Donnelly's in her day. But she used to run in the Greach colours, I'm sure, though, didn't she? She was kind of a later purchase for the Donnellys. But yeah, nice to see her getting back up, I think. But yeah, the video was wild. I'd say if anyone hasn't seen it, go and search her up on Twitter, because probably won't see a horse taking off as far out.
She could be the new Shishkin because she's a tendency to hang all across the track and do all sorts of things too, hasn't she? Anyway, we've Punchestown coming up this week, so loads to look forward to. We've got a second show coming today. Johnny and Emma are going to do a proper in-depth analysis with tips and all for the first 3 days of Punchestown. There'll be another similar show later in the week on Thursday. Emma's doing with Don McLean. Is it, Emma? Is that right?
Yeah, Don, we're going to look at, I think, Friday Punchestown, Saturday, and then the Guineas as well at the weekend. So hopefully covering everything over the week.
Good stuff. Busy week ahead. Anyway, we'll look at some of the other aspects for Punchestown. The first one, I noticed, the first 2 days we've got declarations for us recording this on Monday afternoon. But 10 different British trainers have runners on the first 2 days, some of them multiple runners. You look at the Dublin Racing Festival, there were only 2 British trained runners across the weekend. It's fantastic to see, Johnny, isn't it? This amount of British interest in Punchestown, and you'd like to wonder why we're not getting more of it.
The Dublin Racing Festival, obviously, they're like, I find that hard to believe because some of the races weren't particularly oversubscribed as well. And as much as trainers will say, well, you're trying to avoid Willie Mullins, there's good prize money. And ultimately, as well, if you're an owner and you own a good horse, and ultimately you're running horses for owners. Like, I'd be all over going to, if I had a good horse, I'd be all over going to Punchestown or Dublin for a race meeting and supporting my horse and the crack that you would have. And Punchestown's a fantastic festival. I'm glad to see it. I was really hoping Nicky Henderson would have plenty of runners throughout the week. But yeah, it's great to see. And the first couple of days we've declarations for now. All of the great ones have 3 each-way places in it. It's fantastic. It's really, really good for the makeup of the race for not only for punters but also for bookmakers on track that can lay each-way bets, and you've plenty of angles. Punchestown is a fascinating punting festival because a lot of horses will be short prices, but they'll have had a hard season. And I'm well keen to take on Galloping Deschamps, for example. And the aspect of having 3 each-way places means that as a punting week, it has a lot going for it, which Shelton didn't necessarily have. And brilliant to see English race scores over. The sort of atmosphere was so much better at Leopardstown Dublin Race Festival. And I think it's something Leopardstown are really looking to expand on next year. So bring it on for sure.
Yeah, it's terrific. I don't know where some of them have come from here, trainer-wise, anyway, from the UK. Like, there's lots of them having runners that you wouldn't have heard of before coming over. Generally, Venetia Williams, Tom Lacey, Ryan Potter, Lucinda Russell, Warren Greatrix. Like, they're trainers that don't normally come over here. You could see John Joe O'Neill with his connections with JP McManus would have the odd runner at Punchestown. Nicky Henderson's obviously been coming for years, but Ben Pauling probably had a runner or two. I think he had a winner, did he, a couple of years ago as well. But just generally, I don't know how they've all decided to come. Did horse race in Ireland or Punchestown make a few phone calls somewhere along the way to get them to enter horses? Perhaps?
Well, Corrick Rambler. Emma, Corrick Rambler had to be a complete no-brainer for me. I mean, you prep a horse for the national, and what happened. But his run in the Gold Cup. I mean, how would you not run him? I'm absolutely delighted he's coming. I'm sure you are as well, Emma.
Yeah, for sure. Corrick Rambler kind of adds to, like, it's a really intriguing Gold Cup, and I suppose he didn't get anyone in the national, but there's very few UK runners in the Grade 1s. I'm not sure is Corrick Rambler even the only one. There might be a couple more now later on in the week, but I think it's the declaration so far, he's probably the only one. But I suppose the handicaps, like, there's kind of a race for nearly everyone in the handicaps, like, really isn't there in Punchestown. Like, most horses can probably get a run there if you planned it out right, and especially I think that full circle handicap series. I think like a fair few of those qualifiers are run in the UK. I'd imagine maybe HRI were networking around trying to get them over because, even like look at the success Anthony Honeyball has had when he's runners in Punchestown. Like, he always does well. Maybe other trainers are just kind of piggybacking along the back of that, saying, geez, we can go over here and land a few nice handicaps. Great time out for the owners. Brilliant to see. And it's good to see kind of, I suppose, some of the smaller names as well. It's not just the Nichols and Henderson and Skelton coming over. But yeah, like, Punchestown's a great festival, just, because everyone does kind of have a shot of having a winner there, because, there's kind of lower grade handicap hurdles, handicap chases, but then you've got your grade 1s as well, so you're kind of rubbing shoulders with the best of them, while still having a live chance in the day, which is, I suppose, makes it a little bit different to the Dublin Racing Festival, where it's kind of more condensed action over the 2 days or whatever.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's very different to Cheltenham as well, obviously, because Cheltenham is the elite version of a Punchestown, but Punchestown it's kind of an Irish way of doing it, isn't it? A little bit more crack, something for everybody. There's low grade handicaps, as you say. We've got these cross country races, we've hunter chases, there's about 40 bumpers across the week. Like, it's incredible, isn't it, when you think about it? Looking at the Latouche, for argument's sake, which is obviously one of the pinnacle races during the week. But that Latouche, you've got Coco Beach is in there. He's a 159 rating over fences. Then you've got a horse that Peter Maher has subset in the same race, rated 78 over fences. Now he gets £9, but he's £72 wrong with Coco Beach in a race. Like, what is that about? It's mad stuff, Johnny, isn't it?
Well, it's Punchestown is a bit like that. You say the 78 bumpers and the 4,900 chases. That doesn't help Paul Townend because he wants races that he can actually ride in. It helps Jack Kennedy on the other hand, but yeah, like Punchestown it's a bit different. It's probably a cross between Cheltenham and Galway, I suppose. Something like that. There's a lot of kind of the local hunt race and all of that. It has its own little quirks, but spread out your bets throughout the week. Don't feel you have to bet in every race. As Emma said, it's very, very different. Like the Dublin Racing Festival, pound for pound, is the best race meeting around in terms of quality condensed over 2 days. Punchestown's a bit different to that.
Yeah. Go on to that now. The Jockeys Championship. That's the one big thing coming up this week, because obviously Willie Mullins is going to win his 18th trainer's title. JP is the shoe in as usual for the owner's title. He seems to win it everywhere, can win it forevermore, I'd say. But the jockeys won with Jack Kennedy. He's 7 clear of Paul Townend as we speak. Can he do it, Emma? I'd like to see him do it.
Yeah, I think I was kind of saying last week if he was 7 or 8 clear, he was a real shot. And like, to be fair, he has to, like you kind of said there, I don't know how many races there is over the week in Punchestown, but there's a fair few of them there that Paul Townend can't ride in. And I don't know, does he ride in the cross country races? I can't imagine he normally does. Maybe he might start taking a few rides now if it gets tight coming down to the line in the last few days. But like 7 winners, like Paul's going to have to ride. Like Jack's surely going to ride a few. Paul's going to have to ride 8 or 9 winners in Punchestown at very least, and like that would be a fair achievement on a normal week. Look, I know Willie's going to have plenty of short price favourites and stuff, but I'd imagine the betting is. I'm not sure what the betting is now at the moment, but I'd imagine it's fairly 50-50. We did a poll there on Twitter earlier. And yeah, it's kind of 50-50 as well. I think kind of everyone, sure, everyone knows Paul Townend as well, but I think everyone would be kind of rooting for Jack to get his first one, especially with all the injury problems he's had. It's kind of his first real clear run at it, and they've kind of pushed each other to new heights, I'd say. Like the amount of winners they both rode over the last year, I'd say it might be, I'm not sure it was Paul Townend's best ever season, but it wouldn't be too far off it, I'd say, for number of winners. And yeah, it's adding good excitement. I think Jack might edge it, to be honest, but I think it probably will come down to it. Jack's missing the last day, so he could be getting a bit nervous if Paul starts banging in a few winners on the Saturday. But I'm hoping Jack can get his first title.
Yeah, I think he probably will. To be honest with you, look, I suppose it's a big ask for Paul Townend, isn't it? But as you said there, Paul Townend, this is his best season ever. He's ridden 115 winners, and he's still 7 back. He won his first championship with 80 winners. It's astonishing when you think of the numbers. And we see the same here with the training side of it, that going back, Willie Mullins won his first trainer's title with 110 winners in Ireland the first season he won it. This season, he's 250 winners? And Gordon Elliott's over 200 as well. It's astonishing stuff, Johnny, isn't it?
Yeah, there's too much racing, to be honest. I think in general, I think that's something that we need to look at. There are so many races now, so many race meetings, so many double meetings, so many this and that. And it's not like we necessarily have the prize money to support this, but there's an argument for us, there's an argument for against us. So the numbers are a little bit skewed by that. But Jack's toughness, he'd a heavy fall at Bellewstown and had to come back up then and ride 2 days later. He'd a heavy fall on Teagarden Jazz at Bellewstown, and then he 7 rides at Downpatrick, won the first of them, and I was thinking, well, this is going to be really interesting now. He didn't actually have a winner for the rest of the day, but he's really had to show his mettle here, and Paul has not been helped by the fact, obviously, that Willie's been going for the title in Britain as well, so that's been kind of entailed a little bit of complexity of it. But it's very hard to call. The betting is pretty much 50-50. I think Paul had 11 winners at the festival last year. He's not guaranteed to be banging in winners day after day, just with the nature of Punchestown, and also the fact that he's not riding, say, the likes of Mystical Power. He'll be on other horses that probably will finish behind another Mullins runner. So it's not guaranteed that he'll have all these winners. And obviously Jack has some really, really nice rides, mainly sort of Teopu and that. So I wouldn't like to call it, but it's a fantastic end to the season.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating as well, particularly with Jack not riding on the Saturday. No doubt he'll be there. He'll be all over the TV and everything else. They'll be interviewing him all day, looking at him, cameras on him all day, watching him, see his reaction each time Paul rides a race. let's hope it goes down to the wire. It'd be fun to see it. Literally, that Paul still had a chance of catching him on the Saturday. You'd like to think that he wouldn't be in front of him going into Saturday, which would sort of put a bit of a damn squib on it at that stage with Jack not riding. Anyway, we'll go on. A tip from each of us for the week in Punchestown. I'll start off. I'll give you one I like. Fast or slow to beat Galloping Deschamps. I think the price is great. 100 to 30 you can get generally at the moment. He's beaten him twice here before. He's going for the hat trick against Fast or Slow. I think this track really suits the Martin Braswell horse. I'm hoping we've got rain today. There's due to be quite a bit of rain over today and tomorrow, but hopefully the ground won't be too soft, because I think better ground would suit Fast or Slow more so than Galloping Deschamps. And this track really suits Fast or Slow. I think we'll see a big run. I think he's great value. Emma, give me one from you, please.
I'm going to go Dino Blue on the first day in the championship. It's probably hopefully one of the Mullins winners, which Paula won't be riding and Mark will be riding her. But she's beaten the Cheltenham Championship winner, Captain Guinness, twice already this season. She's beaten Gentleman to Me. I think she's form over most of the field. I think she's pretty rock solid. Probably unlucky not to win the Mayor's Chase when stepping up to 2.5, but this is probably her best trip. I think they're going to find it really hard to give her £7. She probably is the second best 2-mile chaser, even given El Fabiolo's blowout in the Mullins yard. So yeah, I'd say she'll take fair beating here.
Great stuff. Yeah, I like Dinah Blue too. I'm not too sure about the trip now. I know that Dinah Blue was all running over 2 until it stepped up to 2.5 at Cheltenham, but that trip didn't seem to be an issue. I'd prefer to see 2.25 or something here rather than the 2 necessarily. But I agree with you. Dinah Blue looks a bet. Johnny, what have you got for us?
Well, where else to start, Vinny and Emma, than the first race on day 2, which is a race for conditional riders with 25 runners, and it's a handicap as well. So this is the sort of race I love. It hasn't been mentioned maybe much. Danny Gilligan is going to be crowned the top conditional. So this is kind of what Danny is riding. Harsh, actually, if Joseph O'Brien here, interesting 4-year-old horse, could be better on the better ground. And Danny, I really like him as a rider. I think the family have done so much for racing as well in the region of Galway, and Jack and the rest of the brothers they're good lads. Danny's had an amazing year really with the big handicap chases he's won, including the Galway Plate. But Walkaway Harry, he's owned by the Cops. One of them is from one of the owners is from down my neck of the woods at home. They got some kick out of this horse winning that festival last year. And he is running off 113. He literally gets in by the skin of his proverbial teeth. The 25th runner in, tongue strap on for the first time, running off 113, trained by one Charles Burns, ridden by Philip Burns, and loved the horse that won the last year. Has seemingly been crying out to this better ground. Hashtag, what can possibly go wrong?
He was actually one of my horses to follow at the start of the year, so hoping
he
can finally win. I am probably one of the only ones out of all our list that didn't win so far. So it'd be nice to wrap up the year.
Yeah, Charles doing people a favour in the handicap. That'll be fun. Yeah, good stuff. Well, look, that's more or less it for us. Make sure to tune into the other show that Emma and Johnny are doing, and make sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to find out when all these shows are on. You'll get notifications about them. So the other show will be on later today as well. They'll both be on the website, and you'll find them on YouTube. Listen, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great week and enjoy all the Punchestown festivities, and do gamble responsibly. Bye for now.